Okay, today's date is what? What are we looking at? November 17th. Days are flying by. This is your last review of different story problems that you may or may not find on your summative test. The first question is a pretty classical one. It says a small plane carrying 3 people crashes on a deserted island. All 3 people survive, but after gathering all of the supplies they could find, they only managed to find 2/5 of a chocolate bar. Snickers, just in case you care. They're going to split it. I didn't write the rest of this question, but they're going to share it equally. How much does each person get of a bar? So 2 ways you could solve it, and I want you to be able to do both. The first way is to draw your chocolate bar. So this is your Snickers bar, and all that's left, let's do it appropriately. What color chocolate? Let's do this color chocolate. Uh, 2/5, right? So looks more orangey. That's 2/5 of a chocolate bar, shared between 3 people. If I divide this between the 3 people, myself, my wife, and my son, apparently my daughter didn't make it, that's too bad. How much of a chocolate bar does each person get? Well, before I cut it, it was 2/5. After I cut it, it was now 15ths, 2 of which I get. I get this part and this part, which means I get 2/15ths of a bar. That's your final answer. The other way you could do it is, of course, saying, how much do I get? Well, 2/5 of a bar divided between 3 people is actually the expression you should have written, right? And when we do that, we know that the easiest way to get the answer to a division is to change it to multiplication by the reciprocal, and the reciprocal of 3, notice how I put that there, it's pretty important. The reciprocal of 3 is a third, and when I multiply my numerators, I get 2, and when I multiply my denominators, I get 15, and both answers are indeed the same thing. I get 2/15ths of a chocolate bar. The second question says, Kelly Madison, who many regard as the brightest young mind of Mr. McDonald's grade 8 math class, answered 81 out of 100, 81% of the questions on his university entrance exam. Kelly is a man? I don't even know what's going on anymore. Correctly. Of these, it's all wrong everywhere. Cheated on them by asking Richard Nate, another brilliant student, for answers. This is what happens when you change names on questions all the time. What would her score have been if she didn't cheat? So what we're really asking for is a third of the 81% she cheated on, or a third of the 81% she cheated on. So as a multiplication statement, a third of 81% is really a third of 81 over 100. And a lot of people don't realize this, but 81 is divisible by 3, right? Because 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 is a multiple of 3, so 3 is actually divisible into 81. Does anyone know what 81 divided by 3 is? It is 27. So if I cross-reduce this, remember, if I thought about 81 over 3, what would that reduce to in lowest terms? That would reduce down to 27 over 1, which is why the 27 is here and the 1 is there, right? So that reduces down to 27 over 1. When I multiply my numerators, I get 1 times 27, which is 27. When I multiply my denominators, I get 100. So therefore, she actually cheated on 27%. So 27% of that 81% she received should not be marked correct. So therefore, if I take my 81% and subtract my 27% that I cheated on, her actual score would have been 54%. She would have had 54% on her test. Your third one says Maddie and Jack, who are actually my children's names, are starving because their father Will is not a very good cook. After digging through the couch for something to eat, they stumble upon 3/4 of an old pizza from years ago. Maddie, being the bossier of the two, decides she should get 3/4 of the pizza. It should be pizza, not piece. That's why I scratched it out. And Jack can have the rest. How big is Jack's piece in relation to the whole pizza? Therefore, what fraction of a whole pizza is Jack going to be able to eat? So does Jack get 3/4 of the old pizza? No. He only gets how much? 1/4. So Jack will receive 1/4 of the 3/4 of a piece of pizza, or 3/4 of a pizza, right? So when I translate it into words, I'm thinking he's getting 1/4 of the 3/4, or 1/4 of the 3/4. And when I multiply it out, Jack would only be receiving 3/16 of a whole pizza. Okay, 3/16 of a whole pizza. So for those of you that are struggling, being able to first understand that that's the actual question. Jack is going to get a quarter of the 3/4 of the old pizza. And realizing that quarter of 3/4 translates into that, then you know your answer is going to be 3/16. And the last question says, Chris, Kyle, and Adam are saving for Christmas so they can buy their math teacher something really nice for Christmas, which I'm sure all of the kids are doing this time of year. They figure the gift they will each give should cost around $200 because their math teacher is just that awesome. Each of them fails, however, to save enough money, but Chris saved up 3/4 of the money he needed, Kyle saved up 1/8 of the money that he needed, and Adam only saved up 1/20 of the money he needed. However, they think, listen, instead of us each giving a $200 gift, why don't we combine our money and just buy them the $200 gift that way? If they combine their money, will they have enough money to buy their math teacher the perfect $200 gift, or will they need to save more? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to see what fraction of the $200 they save. So Kyle's money, Chris plus Kyle plus Adam. Now, for example, if Chris saved up half the money and Kyle saved up half the money, would they have enough money? Right, because we know a half plus a half equals 100%. If we're thinking percentages instead of fractions, 50% plus 50% would equal the 100% they need. But in this particular question, Chris saved up 75% of his $200. Kyle saved up 1/8 of the $200, and Adam only saved up 1/20 of the money he needed, or $10 really, if we think about what that would be. So we need to figure out what fraction of the $200 is this. So we're going to add these three together. We're going to find our common denominator. The common denominator we're going to use here is actually 40. Right? 30/40 plus 5/40 plus 2/40 equals 37/40 of the amount of money. Did they save up enough money? No, they didn't. If they save 40/40 of the money they need, how much money would that have been? $200. But they only saved up 37/40 of the $200 they needed to buy the gift. So how much shy are they? No, not money-wise. How much fraction-wise are they shy? Not 13/40, 3/40, right? So they are 3/40 of the $200 they need shy of the money. Does that sentence make sense to everyone? They are 3/40 shy of the $200 they require to buy the gift. We can translate this to a math sentence. 3/40 of $200. Does everybody agree with that? Can we cross-reduce this? Can 3 over 1 cross-reduce? No. Can 200 over 40 cross-reduce? Yeah, so if I consider what is the largest number that will divide equally into 240? What is the largest number that will divide into both of those? The answer is 40 will divide into both of them. How many 40s are there in 200? There are 5 of them. How many 40s are there in 40? There's 1 of them. So when I cross-reduce this, it actually becomes 5 over 1. And when I multiply my numerators, what do I get? 15. When I multiply my denominators, I get. So therefore, this actually means, since they are 3/40 of the $200 short, they are really only $15 short of buying their favorite math teacher the perfect $200 gift.